Okay, so in this case we've got a vine which grows, the length of the vine grows according to this formula, 10 times e to the 0.03t, which is fine, so that's the length in centimetres, but there's a little bit of a catch because we're told that the vine doesn't just keep growing without stopping. We're told that it's, what's the start at 10 centimetres, and every time it gets to 500, so it goes grow, 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 when it reaches 500, which was 5 meters, then it gets cut. So it just grows like that, and if we just let it keep growing, if we keep going up here, but actually gets cut, and it gets cut to 200 centimeters, or 2 meters. Okay, so there's a discontinuity there. Oh, sorry, it's continuous, but it doesn't quite work this, it doesn't keep going forever. And then it grows again. When it gets to 5 meters, it gets cut again, and so on. Okay, so the graph of this looks like this. So the questions are fairly straightforward, but you just have to keep in mind that you've got this oddity in here. Okay, so let's look at what we've got to do. Okay, so the first thing we have to figure out is how long does it take for the vine to first get trimmed. In other words, we've got to figure out from here how long does it take to get to this point here. Okay, so this one's pretty straightforward. We just say that it gets to 500 centimeters starting from 10 and 0.03t, and just solve, and you get t is roughly 130 days. Okay, the second part is the same formula, but a little bit trickier, because now we're saying, when does the second trimming happen? So the second trimming happens here. So the first one's here, the second one's here. But if you look at this curve here, this curve doesn't start from 10, it starts from 200. So we apply the same formula, but slightly differently, because now the initial point is 200. Okay, when we figure that out, we get 31 days. Okay, so that's quite a lot less than the 130 it took the first time. But that's right. It should be less because we're now starting from 200 centimeters rather than from 10 centimeters. So we don't know how much less it's going to be, but it should be less. So that's a little bit of a good check for us. Okay, then the third part of the question says, what do we have to do to make this, instead of it being 31 days, if we had to trim it every 60 days. So we've got this lazy gardener who doesn't want to trim the vine every month. He or she wants to trim it every 2 months, so every 60 days. So what do we have to do? Well, what you have to do is, we still have to trim it when it gets to 5 meters, but what you do, fairly logically, is you'd actually when you do your trimming, you trim it down to much lower. So we're currently trimming it to 2 meters, which is around about here. We need to trim it quite a bit lower so that it takes longer to get back to the 5 meters. Okay, so in this case we know, so our formula is this. We don't know what the initial value is. It's going to be somewhere down here, so it's going to take 60 days to reach the 500. So we don't know what that value x is, but we do know that it's going to take 60 days to get there. Okay, so and it's going to reach 500. Okay, so 500 equals x times e to the power of 0.03 times 60, not 6. Okay, and that's easy. We get 82.6. Okay, or let's say roughly 83 centimeters.